Hi students, I wanted to go over the expository essay, the directional process essay, so that if you are going to revise it, if you would like to revise it, that you can know how to get the most points back. Okay, so I'm going to go over the issues that came up the most. Please do read the note I gave you in the comments and then the more specific corrections in your essay. But these are the issues that came up the most, so I'm hoping to really focus on that and help you to get the most points back, right? So first of all, essay structure is really the way you're going to get the very most points back to put your most energy into. So introduction, first of all, for this essay specifically, sometimes it's hard to put yourself in the place of not knowing. When you are really into a topic and really an expert on it. If you've been doing it and it's a hobby or something that you're interested in, you can consider yourself an expert for this exercise, right? But the reader isn't. So you have to picture the reader as a beginner. So they are a beginner and they're intelligent, but they just don't know about your topic. So sometimes it's hard we're speaking as if they know and we're not aware that we're doing that. So that's one of the biggest issues that did come up. So for the introduction, and it's in English terms, English teacher terms, right? It's called awareness of audience. So you need to show awareness of audience. You need to show that you understand that they're a beginner and you're going to explain how to do it. So you kind of have to take a couple of steps back. Read over your introduction, pretending in a sense that you're not you, that you're a beginner at this and you're just not familiar with the topic. So again, it's kind of like, I think I used this analogy before, but it's kind of like someone that's in your driveway and you need to get them to the front door. Well, they don't have a pogo stick, right? They're not just going to jump and they're there. You lead them, right? So you have to lead them. So you're going to, you have to explain a little bit more than if you were talking to a friend that also has that same hobby, right? I mean, you have to explain that, how you got into it, why you got into it, what led you there. That's like the human connection too. What led you to be interested in this topic? That's one issue that could be, right? And then specifically explain, how, kind of an overview, but don't assume they know. Don't assume they know like a specific term or abbreviations or things like that. You kind of just need to put yourself in that place of not knowing. So even before the specific steps, you just don't want to assume that they're right there where you are. It's hard to explain this without a specific topic because the topic I use, chocolate chip cookies, probably most people have some level of familiarity with that. I'm going to pick a topic that I don't think no one picked. I don't think. I don't know. I'm going to pick a topic that I'm not referring to anyone's specific paper, but let's say you're talking about how to play on some certain aspect of basketball, for example. You would not assume that your readers are basketball players. You would assume really that they're not basketball players. Maybe they've never played basketball. They're an intelligent person. Maybe they're even active, right? Or athletic to some degree, but they're not basketball players, right? So you can't assume that they know the specific terms of basketball. You can't assume that they're already there, right? You might explain to them how you got into playing basketball and why it's so fun for you and what it does for you, and kind of help them to get enthusiastic about the topic and then lead them to. And maybe you're teaching them how to prepare for a game or how to do a specific move or play. You can tell I'm not a basketball player. A specific move or play. But if you just start talking about, here's an example. If you just start, say you're, that thing where you jump up and you get the ball in the hoop, and I don't know. There's a lot of that going on in basketball, right? Like basketball players are like laughing hysterically right now. So you can see I'm before a beginner, right? But I like it. It's a fun game, right? So at any rate, but if you're trying to tell them whatever that move is, right, where you jump and you put the ball in there, and you're like, if you just start really getting into like this is how to do that move and everything, but the person that's like me, that is not a basketball player, is going to go, wait, what's that? What's that called? Why are you doing that? When do you do that? Why? So instead, you would explain maybe how you got into playing basketball, why it's so fun for you, and how this particular move, the jump thing, we tell them what it's called, and tell them why that is so important in basketball, why that to know how to do that move is so important to the game, and maybe how it's a little bit hard to learn how to do it successfully, and then how you have developed over your time of practicing how to do that move, and you are now ready to teach even beginners how to do the jumpy thing. All right, very, don't call it the jumpy thing at any rate. Yeah. So, but I hope hopefully you can see what I mean and put your topic in with what I'm talking about. All right. So that was really a big issue that came up, was awareness of audience. All right. So next, thesis. Don't forget the thesis. Very easy in this paper to get so into the directions that we forget the thesis statement. You must have a clear thesis statement. And it would normally be the last sentence in your intro, because you explain what you're going to be teaching. Again, you might explain how you got into it or why it's so important to learn this process, etc. And then you need your thesis. So you can use something similar to the one that I gave you in the writer's workshop, which was off the top of my head. By following my simple steps, you too can make a delicious dessert of chocolate chip cookies that your friends and family will love, right? So in your thesis, it needs to indicate that you are going to teach the reader how to do the process. Words like process, steps, plan, guide, all kinds of words like that are really helpful in doing that. So you need your topic, you need your idea, but in with the idea, it has to indicate that you will teach the reader how to do the process. All right. So if the thesis was missing, or if there's something missing from the thesis, you can easily go back and make that corrections, and it will have a big positive effect on your paper. Okay. Topic sentences. These are very important. Of course, I've said they're the building blocks of essays. So you must have topic sentences, even when giving directions in a directional process essay. So I mentioned in the writer's workshop, the topic sentences are larger steps in the process, like a big step, and then the little steps have to come in that category. So you've kind of got to think of it as large steps or categories. So in the chocolate chip cookies workshop, I broke it down into like, what are the large steps? Well, maybe preparing, preliminary baking steps. I think I said preliminary baking steps, and that's going to be like preheating the oven, greasing the cookie sheets, that sort of thing. And then after that, maybe it's, mixing dry ingredients. And then after that, maybe it's mixing wet ingredients. Whatever it is, it's one big, large step. Then the little steps go into the right category. So I would, if this went awry for you, I would regroup and I would make a list of your large steps. Then I would make a list of your small steps, and I would put the small steps into the right category, just on a piece of paper. Then you can see it. Every large step gets a paragraph. Every large step gets a paragraph. So depending on your process, this may be very lengthy. You really should have if you are doing this with essay structure, you should have no problem meeting the minimum 3 full page length requirement. If you're not using topic sentences, you'll probably have 2 pages and you're like struggling to get to the 3rd page, right? That's because of essay structure, because you're not using essay structure correctly, right? So every large step gets a category, okay? So it's got to be an entire paragraph about that large step. So, for example, you would not, as a topic sentence, say, now it is time to preheat the oven. Really? You're going to talk about an entire paragraph about preheating an oven? Lord have mercy, you must have a lot to say about preheating ovens, right? I mean, even I cannot talk about an entire paragraph about preheating an oven, and I think I could talk a lot, right? so, so no, 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 no. It's got to be a large step. The whole paragraph has to be about that step. So you're not going to say something like, and now add the cinnamon. No, not for an entire paragraph. Really, what are you going to say about adding cinnamon for an entire paragraph? And then